Prime Minister launched 5G services. We have been all waiting for 5G services around the world. They're being launched and India yet to be on it. But I think the timing is right for few reasons, that the solutions which we are going to deploy are really mature, are what you call it second gen or third gen. They are low cost, low power, and the softwares are mature, the handsets are ready, and the first time we will be launching a service which will have already users on the day zero, because India already has close to 50 million devices which support 5G. So what all could be better for it that they can use and test on the first day. So really speaking, if we have to move on to the vision of 5 trillion economy, I think connectivity or enhanced connectivity will play a very big role, and 5G is a big glue to this connectivity, especially when it comes to the wireless challenge. We all know with the kind of consumptions per user which it is there in India, the slow speed internet may not work for use cases which we have deployed like connected wireless, ambulance like this. So we really need faster speed. But India has proven that whenever there has been a connectivity, we have leapfrogged. I think it was a great listening to our Prime Minister today, where he talked about that we may think the rural person may not connect to a digital use case or may not use to a connected, may not know how to use the technology, but it's not really true. If you really see, India has, after these 5 years, 6 years of 4G, largest number of base, highest consumption per user, almost 21 GB per user, and the lowest cost per GB. So really this country really adopts any technology which is thrown at us. And if you look at one use case, I was talking to one of my industry friends, not from India, is saying the amount of proliferation of e-payment in India is uncomparable. Every place, every person you can pay. You can pay human to human using e-pay, and that is riding on the wireless connectivity which has been provided by the operators in India. So really, if this connectivity was to become faster and more, you can say more low latency kind of use cases, we don't know what will come in India. So really, to make India succeed, there are few things which must happen for a higher speed connect. First, at least 50 Mbps connectivity for the broadband users, which we are already seeing because the FTTH growth is really surprised us post-COVID. Then 5G, I'll pick few points. 5G available for MICEs. It is not a big city technology. Really, it is not. I mean, I remember few days back, one of my colleagues was in a market in a very deep rural state of India, and he went to a shop listening to what customers are saying. A customer came to buy, and that was Sasaram district in Bihar. A customer came to buy a mobile phone and he insisted on buying a 5G phone. So if that deep rural can have audience wanting to buy a 5G phone, we all will be pleasantly surprised at the speed it will take. And I believe we will surprise. I was just talking to another colleague that next year when we do Indian Mobile Congress, we will be talking about stats of number of users who are connected to the Indian 5G networks, the usage they are doing, and the innovations they will bring on. I believe 4G was like a highway. If there is no highway, there is no car. If there was no 4G, there would have been no OTT services. You really cannot think of a video service, you cannot think of a music service, you cannot think of an eBay service if 4G is not everywhere. So I believe the telco industry, all of us which we are part of, created this highway for all these use cases to come and create this value for a user. But what will happen with 5G, that it will be more like an aeroplane, like an aerodrome, like an airport, which is not just creating a runway for aircraft to take off on land. There are many other ways in which you will engage, in which you will create value. There are many more interactions which will happen in the industries. Let's talk about a use case like cloud gaming. So it will not just be that you can just pick up any cloud gaming software and start playing. It will have a deeper integration with the network. If you talk about other APIs which will get exposed for industry use cases. So unlike a highway, once the highway is made, car has nothing to do with the highway but go on it. I think this will be where it will be a complex interaction between the use case, user and the telco domain. And we'll have a lot of responsibility of making it happen. For normal users like you and me, it will mean 10 to 30x faster speed here. In India, because of high number of users and 50 to 60 megahertz of spectrum, the speeds are not so fast on 4G. But 5G will really surprise us, where the speeds will be really, really fast. And I believe in next 4 to 5 years, having 500 million 5G users will not be a dream. It can happen faster if the coverage happens faster. Then a lot of startups will start playing a role, because you will have that runway or a highway to produce those use cases. I think we'll have use cases in India produced for Indian and also for the world. And also broadband, we shouldn't forget about broadband, because while there is 5G, there is this fiber to home, which is also driving work from home, remote working, remote connectivity more efficient. But first time, telco industry has created a technology which is not just only for users. I mean, all the previous use cases, whether it was 2G, 3G, 4G, was a common user doing something better. Voice without a wire was 2G, slight bit of data was 3G, faster data runway using all those use cases was 4G. But this time, a technology has been made with industry in mind. So I think with India's vision of Digital India, Make in India, Atmanirbhar India, all these visions will need our industry to really kick in. And 5G will help those industries develop use cases, develop efficiencies, develop, I would say, new ways of working, which will make them stand, if not higher, but at par with their global counterparts. It will not just touch one set of industry, it will touch manufacturing industry, healthcare industry, entertainment industry. And if we go on this side of the wall, you'll find all these use cases being demonstrated. So really speaking, this is not a desktop or a slideware, it is real. We have already seen, we have these factories live. Some of them are commercially declared, some of them are under POC, but this is no longer a slideware. It is really, really real, it is happening. And those use cases, if you want to touch and feel, please come to our booth or go to other colleagues' booth or all industry booths, you will see that happening. It is no longer slides. Use cases like drone-based inventory, it is running in our booth. You can come back and see a drone scanning the QR cards, updating the inventory and telling us, imagine you had to take an inventory of a warehouse. A human, even if he is using a digital reader, still will take huge time to take an inventory of a large warehouse. Imagine you can fly a drone, you can take a stock taking every day. How much efficiency it will throw in. Connected robots, we are showing it in one of the factory use case. Connected ambulance. I didn't know this, but 10% of the deaths happen when the patient is moving from his house to the hospital. And if that golden hour, when he's in that hospital moving to the, when he's in the ambulance moving to the hospital, if he can be given the right treatment, he can survive. But we cannot have a doctor in every ambulance. But we can have a remote connectivity in every ambulance with all the sensors and one doctor managing many ambulances and advising the healthcare worker inside the ambulance to do the right thing. Believe me, this will be a great one to save lives. So similarly, there are many other use cases which can be done, and I think this is all what we can think of. Like Prime Minister was saying today, just give the rural India or larger India the technology and little bit, you can say, a tinkle to touch their imagination. Then rest all will follow. You will think of, we will see use cases which we can't even think of today. So industry can look at using these technologies, higher operational efficiency, which means lower cost, which means they are more competitive. Things like safety and surveillance, we know safety is important, but a camera with the AI behind can detect safety issues and fix them faster and save human lives, improve quality of products, improve workforce productivity, and definitely faster product launch. We have all seen it. If you use machine learning, if you use AI, and if you use tech, your product life cycles become shorter. So clearly 5G is there to help Indian industry and great experience for Indian consumer like you and me. What are we doing at Airtel? Last slide from Airtel perspective. We have been working on for it for almost 2 years now with our industry colleagues. We are ready with our cloud, with our automation journeys, with our NFVs, with our 5G radio solutions, with our IoT solutions and O&M. Like, we are not going to start when the technology come in. So here we are ready, making sure that we are ready to give the experience on the first day, a very good experience. This technology would be different, and this is my message to my industry colleagues and my own colleagues, that when 2G to 3G happened, user was new, he did not know how to use data, was touching it. But when 3G to 4G happened, again there were no use cases. But when 4G is there, user is very mature data user. He uses for gaming, he uses for video, social media, work, play. He is a discerning user. So when he will move to 5G, he will not start zero. He will move with some expectation. So the onus and the responsibility we all carry is to give the user who moves from 4G to 5G a great experience. And I hope we can live up to the expectation of the Indian consumers and make really the dream of Prime Minister and the whole Indians come true of making India great and making this economy a 5 trillion economy. Thank you.